Wow, does that clock describe your life right now? Woohoo! It's spinning, it's spinning, it's spinning faster and faster, and it just seems like it's out of control. We got so much going on. There is so much stuff to do. There's so many places we have to be. There's so many demands on our life. There is just, man, I just don't have any more time. It's out of control. Man, that's tough. And that's where a lot of us find ourselves. We are too busy to have a Merry Christmas. It's just too busy. But you know Christmas is coming, don't you? You got 16 days. Some of you, that just spooked you. You're just like, 16 days? No way. It's like, ain't it still Thanksgiving? No, you got 16 days. And the calendar says Christmas is coming. December 25th. Now, we can't do anything about that. We can't change that. We can't control that. That's going to happen. Now, the thing is, you and I can decide whether it's going to be a Merry Christmas or just Christmas, because the calendar just says Christmas. So what we can do is decide whether it's going to be Merry Christmas. If 2012 is going to be a great Christmas, one that we remember because, man, it was just a merry, merry Christmas. You know, I'm not so sure that first Christmas started out as a merry Christmas. You know, this couple, they were expecting a baby. And if you've been there, you know, well, there's a lot of I don't knows in that situation. I remember, it itches in your mind. I remember when Dallas and Dylan were born. Now Dylan was scheduled, so it wasn't quite so crazy. But Dylan wasn't. I mean, Dallas wasn't. And so, and if you've ever had a child, or you've ever been close to somebody, maybe as a niece or nephew, you got to be a part of their birth, or a grandchild, you know, it don't matter what's going on in the world. When it's time, it's time. You know, everything, you just drop everything. And so, you know, me and Angie, we were busy. Man, we were busy. I drove for UPS. UPS, they don't like you to call in for any reason. You know, hey, the world blew up. It don't matter. Be at work. You just be at work. And so they don't like you to call in. And Angie, she was busy. We both were really involved in our church. And so, you know, there was no good time for a baby to show up. I mean, it just wasn't there. You know, Monday through Friday, I was in the truck, and I was hard to find. You know, Saturdays, we were doing stuff around the house, getting stuff ready for church. And on Sundays, I mean, from early till late, we were busy. And so there was just no time. But, you know, Dallas didn't know that and really didn't care. When it was time, you drop everything, and you head to the hospital. You know, and so I remember we had to drop everything. And we rushed to the hospital. Of course, we got there, and we waited, and we waited, and we waited, and we waited. And finally, we just had to go to surgery and get that boy out. But, you know, there's that moment just right before your child or grandchild or that special child in your life, right before they're born, while they're born, right after that time stands still. It just kind of freezes. It doesn't matter what in the world is going on. The focus is on that special baby. And that's the way it was with Dallas and Dylan both. And scheduled or unscheduled, everything just froze and time stood still. And man, I know we all know that Christmas is about the birth of a baby. Or do we? You know, there's that Santa Claus thing. You know, and then there's the presents, and then there's the parties, and then there's, you know, you got to be here, and you got to do this, and the expectations of others, and you got to do, you know, you're expected of this and that, and then the clock's spinning, and man, it's just getting out of control. It's like, I don't even have time to think about Jesus. I don't even know if it's going to be a Merry Christmas because we're just so busy. There's just so many things going on. But remember, if somebody was this Christmas, maybe you're not getting ready to have a baby. Some people are. But remember, if somebody was in your family, somebody really close to you, and they were about to have that baby, that special baby in your life, everything stops. All the attention on the baby. That is what that first Christmas was about, paying attention to that baby. But we got so many demands on us. I don't know about you, but it seems like there's just more stuff this year than last year. And I was like, gosh, how much faster can it get? How much crazier can it get? And we talked about last week how, I don't have Mary in my family, so I'm not sure I'm going to have a Merry Christmas. I'm not so sure you'll have a Merry Christmas if we're just so busy. We're too busy for Mary in our Christmas. Which made me think of a question this week. Who's in control of our schedule this Christmas? Now, there may be a lot of answers to that question. Well, there's work, and then there's the family, and there's, I got to buy this. But not stop and just think, who's really in control of your schedule this Christmas? Because, see, if we're in too big a hurry, all we do is worry. Y'all with me on that? Yeah, it's like scurry, and then you worry because you ain't getting everything done. You just... What would it take? What would it take for you? What would have to take place in your life that you have the merriest Christmas ever? I mean, over the top. 2012 will be the year to remember that this was the best Christmas. We talked about last week, we can't change them. We can't change the demands of our family. We can't change the demands of the workplace. We can't, culture's flying at us with this and with that. We can't change all that, but we can change us. What do you need to change? What I need to change in my schedule, maybe that's what I need to change, my schedule so that I have a Merry Christmas. That I have that Christmas that's just over the top. Because I can change me, I can't change them. God is in control. He's in control of those who love Him, those who serve Him, those who are out to do His will. God's in control. And He guides our path. He directs us. And He leads us in the right directions. And so God's in control of the people who are serving Him and following Him. But the truth be known, God's in control of everything. Even those who are going their own way. And God lets us get out of control. He lets us make our own choices. He lets us go down paths that He knows are not good for us, but He lets us kind of get out of control, and He lets us pay the price for those things. So, who is in control of your schedule this Christmas? Or maybe this thought, who would you like to be in control of your schedule this Christmas? Too big a hurry, just one great worry. Joseph and Mary, their world seemed like it was out of control. I mean, they hadn't planned on getting married the way they got married. It was, it was culturally unacceptable. It wasn't traditional. It wasn't the way it was supposed to be done. That was out of control. They hadn't planned for this baby. This baby is definitely out of their control. In fact, all of life seemed out of control for the two of them. Things were not happening as they had planned. Things were not going like they hoped it would go. That first Christmas was not looking like a Merry Christmas, because things just seemed way out of control. But we take up our story as we walk through the Christmas story this year. Luke chapter 2. You got those verses in your handout. We looked at Matthew last week. We looked how the angel let Mary and Joseph in on what was going on and the struggles that took place in that. And so we walk on a little further in the Christmas story. Luke chapter 2, verse 1. At that time, the Emperor Augustus ordered a census of the Roman Empire. This was the first census taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. All the people went to register in the cities where their ancestors had lived. So Joseph went from Nazareth, a city in Galilee, to a Judean city called Bethlehem. Joseph, a descendant of King David, went to Bethlehem because David had been born there. Joseph went to register with Mary. She had been promised to him in marriage and was pregnant. So they got to leave town. They got to leave town, and they don't really have a choice in the matter. This is not something they can control. It's out of their control. In fact, if Joseph had not wanted to go, he might have could have pulled it off. You couldn't just go to the Roman Empire and the Roman officials and say, look, man, we're about to have a baby, and it'd be really bad for us to travel right now, and, things are kind of busy in our life. And, the Roman Empire wasn't known for compassion. If he'd had a bunch of money, he might have could have paid somebody off and stayed there, but they didn't have a bunch of money, and so he couldn't do that. And so things are out of control for them. They're going to have to go. They're going to have to leave town. They're going to have to pack up and go. And moms, if you've been there, you know that this is not a good time to travel, especially back in the day. You're in the last weeks of pregnancy, and you got to travel. That's not a good thing. That's not good timing. Come on now. What are we going to do here? Because this situation's out of our control. You got to go, but you don't want to go. And, guys, I can see Joseph. Guys, y'all with me? Men, I see this. Joseph, he's coming home. He's coming home to tell Mary. Mary, I found out today that the Roman government is saying I got to go register for the census. And Mary says, "Oh, that's okay, Joseph. That's okay. I'll be home. I'll be okay home a little while by myself." And Joseph's like, "No, Mary, you don't understand. I got to go back to the city I was born in, Bethlehem." You see, remember they had a shotgun wedding, so they hadn't figured out all these details yet. Bethlehem? Mary says, like, the Bethlehem way over there, Bethlehem? And Joseph's like, yeah, but it's like only 90 miles. 90 miles? 90 miles? Joseph, I'm pregnant. I'm about to have this baby any minute now. 90 miles? And guys, you know what she starts to do? She starts crying. She's just crying. And so Joseph's like, come on, I got a plan, Mary. I got a plan. I know. I'll go, Mary. I'll go by myself because I can get there real fast and I can get back. And then, she really starts crying. Oh, she's boo-hooing now. And he's like, what? It was a good plan. But I might have the baby while you're gone. I don't want you gone while I have the baby. This thing's just out of control. Joseph, don't you know? Don't you know, Joseph? We got to get the nursery ready. And Joseph, we got to have those baby showers. And Joseph, this is just not good. This is not good timing. These things are happening too fast. It's too busy. It's too crazy. No way. Does that sound like your life? Does that sound like where you are? Maybe you're not expecting a baby, but what's your calendar look like? I was checking mine the other day. I keep mine in my phone, and there's mine. I don't know if yours does this. Everything does different. But when I schedule something on my calendar, the day turns red instead of white. And so I'm thinking I'm going to rename December the red month because all the days are red. It just gets crazier. And we get these more and more demands on us. And things are happening so fast, and it's 16 days away, and I ain't got everything done. And I'm just too busy to have a Merry Christmas. I don't even know if I ain't even had time to think about Jesus. And, you know, there's really not a lot of reminders of him anyway, but there is, man, old Santa Claus, he's everywhere. Which reminds me, you got all your shopping done? You gotta get all your shopping done. And don't forget, you may have to go to Charleston or Savannah or Columbia to one of them malls to get what everybody wants. Yeah, and the tree, don't forget the tree. You got your tree up, don't you? I mean, you can't wait like you did last week to the week before Christmas. You got to get that tree up. But I know we had stuff this past weekend, and then there's that thing next weekend, and there's just so many demands on us, and there's like these people saying, well, you know, your in-laws and your boss and your kids and your neighbors and your church and your school, and you got to be here, and you need to be there, and I want you to do this, and I want you to, and oh, by the way, we need you to bring something, so you got to cook something. You got that ready, don't you? Whew, man, this thing's just out of control. It's just moving too fast. You heard anybody say, I'll just be glad when Christmas is over? Why? Because it's just so crazy. Things are out of control. Well, if you do have to go to Columbia, think about Mary. That's about how far she had to go. And they were really poor. So it's very likely she had to walk. Oh, I know all the plays have her on a donkey, but they also have the wise men at the stable, and that didn't help either. You know, I'm thinking Mary and Joseph, their life seems so out of control. So many things happening at one time. So many things coming at them. They hadn't planned. They hadn't planned on having this baby. They hadn't planned on life being this way. They hadn't planned on all these demands coming on them like they were. It was just so out of control. I want you to watch this video. It's not chronologically, biblically correct, but neither are most of our plays. And I want you to focus on the message. There's a lot of funny stuff in it, but make sure you find out what it takes to have a Merry Christmas.
It has been complete chaos outside Bethlehem this week. I mean, complete chaos. I have never seen anything like it before. You see, Caesar has issued this decree that everybody must come back to their hometown and be registered for the census. Vendors are selling things like mad. It would take a complete miracle to top what I've seen here in Bethlehem. I mean, a complete miracle. Before I get ahead of myself, my name is Stuart, and this is my inn, the Bethlehem Bed and Breakfast. We were going to call it the Holiday Inn, but we just never thought it would catch on. It's been quite a night, I tell you. There was this couple that came later on after all the rooms were full. This couple came up, and the girl, she said, please, sir, do you have any place for us to stay? And I told them, like I've told everybody, I'm sorry, but this inn is full. But she looked at me and she said, please, we've been traveling for 85 miles. We are so tired. And my wife, she heard the whole conversation, and she saw something that I didn't see. She saw that this girl was pregnant. And she kind of jabbed me in the gut, and I knew that that meant A, I find them a place to sleep tonight, or B, I find myself a place to sleep tonight. So I chose A. And I told them they could stay in the barn. The barn, it is no place for any human to be. I mean, it's full of hay and manure and animals. But that's all I had. And they were thankful. And as they were walking to the barn, the gentleman, I think his name was Joe, he turned around and he said, God bless you. Then he placed his hand on his wife's stomach and he said, because he's about to bless us. You should have seen this couple. There was something so different about them, something amazing. You should have seen the way they treated each other, the way he treated her. The only word that I can describe it is a word we don't even use that much, but it's the only word that I can think of. Holy. I know it's an odd word, but you should have seen them. They were just set apart. There was just something different about them. You know what? It's just too hard to describe.
Describe your rooms for me, please.
Pardon me?
Your rooms. I need a place to stay tonight.
I'm sorry, but all my rooms are full. There is no vacancies here.
Oh, you're telling me. This whole census thing, I mean, I wasn't even going to come, but then my CPA said I had to, so here I am.
Well, you're out of luck here, sir.
Oh, come on, you got to have something. I mean, I got money, and I know I didn't misread the sign.
Sign? What are you talking about? I turned the vacancy sign off about half an hour ago.
No, not that. The star over there, you know? I've been following that star for like a half an hour, you know? I mean, I just knew it meant vacancies. Apparently it meant unvacancies. I mean, that star there, you can't deny it. It's shining right over your inn. You know what? Come to think of it, it's really not over your inn. It's over your barn. But you wouldn't be people in your barn, would you?
No, not even a pregnant woman.
What?
Nothing. Keep talking.
Well, listen, you got to have something for me.
You know what? All I have for you is just a nice cup of coffee.
Ooh, no. I get kind of jittery if I drink caffeine at night.
No. It's decaffeinated. Drink up.
You sure that's decaffeinated? Because it tastes like the real thing.
Oh, yes. That's the secret of New Pharaoh's naturally brewed decaffeinated coffee. It tastes like regular, but it's decaffeinated.
That, my friend, is a good cup of joe.
That's right.
You know, the only thing that I really need here is,
some bread?
Man, nah. Now, that is some good bread.
You like that, do you? I got a whole slew of them down at Old Man Moses' Deli down the street. You can pick some up for breakfast in the morning.
Yeah. It's good. I just wish it didn't have all that butter on it. I'm trying to watch my weight.
That is a butter substitute.
Huh? Tastes like butter.
Nope. Half the calories and fat is regular margarine or butter.
You sure it's not butter?
It's not butter.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Nope.
Well, listen, friend, thank you for these things, but where can I lay my head tonight?
Let's see here. You know what? There is a motel down the street. It's the second, it's the 6th motel.
All right, Motel 6.
Yes, the one with the lights on.
Well, thank you very much, and Merry Census to you.
Whoa. Merry Census.
Oh, yes, this census is huge. It's the biggest thing to hit in years. I mean, it's turned commerce on its ears, you know? So I coined this phrase, Merry Census. Even had it trademarked, huh? So, Merry Census to you.
I like that. Merry Census.
You owe me $1.
He followed that star as some type of sign. Maybe it could be a sign. It is shining unusually bright over my barn, but a sign? No, there's just no way. My wife, she would look at that star and she would think, maybe it's a God thing. No. Stuart, get a hold of yourself. There is no way that star means anything. There is no way that God has a purpose for that star. But what if? No, that is just crazy. No.
This is crazy.
Pardon me?
I know what's going on inside your barn. I've been in your barn.
You smell like my barn.
Oh, that's just the sheep dip. I'm a shepherd.
How do you know about my barn?
The star. The star said it all. And them angel alien things. Look, here I was just minding my own sheep, right? And my sheep were like, you know, and then that alien angel thing appeared and it was like, ah! And then I was all like, ah! And then that alien angel thing said, fear not.
And then what?
What?
After the ba and the ah and the ah, then what?
And then it said, that alien angel said, fear not, for behold, I bring you good news of a great joy that shall be for all the people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign to you. You will find the babe wrapped in cloths and laying in a manger. And then all of a sudden there's a bunch of them alien angel things all over. And they were all over. And so then we came to your barn, and it was just like they said. We walked in. Out came the baby, just like they said.
How do you know all this?
It's etched inside my brain. The aliens, angels put it in there. I gotta tell everybody I come in contact with. Did you hear that?
No, I did not, no.
I gotta go.
Merry Census.
You owe me $2.
So the girl had a baby, and that shepherd believes an angel led him to my barn. A shepherd really believes that God has a purpose for that star. The shepherd sees miracles every day, and I keep waiting for one. A miracle would be God showing himself in the flesh. Now, that would be a complete miracle. But I can't get away from all the things he said. I mean, maybe God has a purpose for that star. Maybe it's guiding some weary travelers tonight. I think it'll take a very wise man to answer that question. Where are you going to find a wise man in this place?
Is this the place?
The place?
The place. Come on, I haven't got time to waste.
All right. Don't be in such a haste. What's in the case?
Well, the case.
The case.
Ah, this is the place.
What's your name?
Reuben King.
King Stewart.
You can call me Rue.
Call me Stu.
Here's my card. I deal in impossibilities.
Impossibilities.
That's my job.
All right. What's in the case?
A barrage.
Barrage of what?
Bulk.
What kind of bulk?
Expensive bulk.
For who?
The baby.
The baby? How did you know about the baby?
I followed the star.
You followed the star.
I followed the star to the baby in the barn.
You followed the star to the baby in the barn in Bethlehem.
Basically,
The baby, the star, impossible.
that's my job.
All right. No more braiding around. Watch your beef.
Can I bounce a secret off you?
And as he leaned in closer, I could only think of one thing. Tic-tac.
Ah, thank you. And only 1.5 calories per mint.
Bingo.
Here's the deal, Stu. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be straight. I'm going to be frank. I'm going to be coy. I'm going to be curt. I'm going to be Captain Kirk. I'm not going to pull the wool over your eyes. I'm going to lay all my cards out on the table.
Get on with it, Rue.
All right, Stu. The baby in the barn.
What about the baby in the barn?
The baby in the barn is the Son of God.
The baby in the barn is the Son of God. Impossible.
That's my job.
Okay. Rue, I'm trying to get my head around all this. How did all this happen?
She said yes. She said yes, and the impossible became possible.
And to think, I left the Messiah in the cold tonight.
I'd hate to be you. Well, listen, I'm getting inside that barn. By the way, if 2 of my associates show up and a drummer boy, send them in.
Whoa, a drummer boy?
A little drummer boy.
What does a little drummer boy do?
He's going to bang on his drums.
He's going to bang on his drums.
He's going to bang on his drums for the baby in the barn.
He's going to bang on his drums for the baby in the barn in Bethlehem.
Basically.
Beautiful. What ballad?
Ba-rum-pa-pum-pum.
Pa-rum-pa-pum-pum. You tell him to play his drums for him.
Oh, he'll play his best for him.
Pa-rum-pa-pum-pum.
Ba-rum-pa-pum-pum.
Rum-pa-pum-pum. Catchy.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, before you go, Merry Census.
What?
Merry Census. I mean, it's the biggest thing that's happened to Bethlehem, so Merry Census.
The biggest thing to happen to Bethlehem and the world is what's going on in your barn right now. No, you should be saying, Mary had the Christ child in a barn after following a star all day. I got to figure out how to shorten that. Well, I'm off to the barn. Bye-bye.
Well, it's starting to happen. Bethlehem will soon be waking up, and they'll be wanting food in their stomachs, and they'll be getting in their own little world. What they won't realize is that a Savior has just entered the world. What a night. A silent night. A holy night. There's that word again. I think I almost missed this. Even in my own home. Yes. Rest, child. Rest while you can, child. For your work is just about to begin. Speaking of work, I might as well begin my work too. So, Mary sense. No, Stuart, don't miss this. Don't make it about money and things. Because it's about the Christ child. Christ. Yes. Merry Christmas. Yes. Merry Christmas.
So everything seemed so out of control. Everything was happening way too fast. For Mary and Joseph, this was not the plans they had made. This was way out of their schedule, which makes me who's in control of your schedule this Christmas? It's a good question to answer. Well, let's see what else happened. Verse 6. It said, while they were in Bethlehem, the time came for Mary to have her child. She gave birth to her firstborn son. She wrapped him in strips of cloth and laid him in a manger because there wasn't any room for them in the inn. I can see Mary turn to Joseph. Joseph, you see, I told you, Joseph. I told you we'd probably have this baby while you were gone. I'm so glad you didn't go, Joseph. I'm glad you were here for this baby. Then Mary, she starts to cry. Guys, if you don't know, moms cry when they have the baby. And Joseph's like, what's wrong? What's wrong, Mary? I mean, everything went well. The birth went well. The baby's doing good. Why are you crying? What did I do? But Joseph, don't you see? Look. Our baby is laying in a feed trough. Joseph, this was not supposed to be the way the first Christmas was. Our baby wasn't supposed to be born in a barn. This place smells like cow manure. There's chickens everywhere. This is not what I had in mind. This is way out of control, Joseph. Joseph, our family's not here. Nobody's here but these stinking animals. Joseph, this is not what I planned. And then I see Joseph quietly, carefully saying, you, Bethlehem, are too small to be included among Judea's cities. Yet, from you, Israel's future ruler will come from me. His origins go back to distant past, to days long ago. Mary, don't you remember what Micah wrote about? Mary, don't you see? We're right where we're supposed to be. Mary, it was right here that God said the Savior would be born. I know, Mary, this was not in our plans. I know things seem so out of control. I mean, we didn't even plan for this baby, much less plan to have it in a foreign city with no family around and in a barn. But Mary, this was God's plan. And you know what, Mary? Having a Merry Christmas is not about having all those parties for the baby. And Mary, really, it's not about having all those presents for the baby. And Mary, it's really not even about being with our family. Mary, the Merry Christmas is about being with Jesus. Right where God wants us to be, with Jesus. So who is in control of your schedule this Christmas? What's your goal for this Christmas? Is it about getting the perfect gift? Having the perfect dinner? Going to all the places you want to go? Keeping the family tradition? None of those things are bad in of themselves, but how about your schedule? You have Jesus on your schedule? Have you planned any special time set aside for Jesus? Because you see, our world is moving us faster and faster to a happy holidays and a merry census. Are we making time for Jesus? Are we scheduling him on the calendar? Because, whose birthday is it anyway? If we really want to keep merry in our Christmas, if we really want to have a Merry Christmas, we got to make sure we focus on Jesus. Because when a baby's born, the world stops. And we the church, we disciples of Christ, we gotta lead in setting the example on this. I know we got some presents to buy, and we put up a tree, and like Ronnie said, we hang lights at our house, man, alive, it lights all up. And all those things are okay, but we gotta make sure we, the disciples of Christ, set the example and say the focus has got to be on Jesus. Because if we don't do it, the rest of the world won't. if we don't set aside the time, if we don't make it a point, maybe even just make it a point in the things that we do on a daily basis, and we make it a point that we tell people that this is about Jesus, you know. Don't get so busy. Don't get in such a hurry that all you're doing is worrying and you ain't got time for Jesus. You know, the greatest way you can be sure you're going to have the merriest Christmas is that you know Jesus personally. That you've taken the time, that you've stopped in your life, that there's come a point in your life that you said, I don't want just a baby in a manger. I want the Savior as my Lord. If you haven't done that, let me tell you, you won't have a very merry Christmas. You won't find any lasting joy. There is no eternal hope because you and I have a sin problem. And that's why Jesus came. He came because we have a sin problem. And he lived and he died because we have a sin problem. And he's our only hope. So let me challenge you for a moment to stop. Stop and know for sure that he's not just a baby in a manger anymore, but he's the Lord of your life. If he's not, then that's one of the reasons I'm down here to talk with you, and these other guys will be here to talk with you and to pray with you. You do that, you're on your way to the merriest Christmas ever. You'll remember Christmas 2012. Disciples, the rest of us, you know, we got some Christmas stuff to do, and you know, at some of these gatherings and parties, and you know, we can connect with people and maybe lead to being disciples, but is Jesus really on our schedule, disciple? Family's important, but they're not the meaning of the season. Presents, yeah, they're important. We like to do stuff. Me and Dallas was talking about that last night, how much more exciting it is when we give stuff. But that's not the meaning of the season. Jesus. Are we too busy to spend time with Jesus this year? I challenge you to remember, we can't change the world. We can't change what they're doing and putting on us, but we can change our schedules. And so, what do you need to change in your schedule so that Jesus is in your Christmas? I'm here to pray with you about that. The altar's a great place to just offer up to Him. Here's something. Here's something. And you know, let me just free you up on something. It's okay to say no to some of the demands in your life. It's okay to say, no, I just can't make that one. My calendar's full. Put Jesus in there. I'm going to spend time with Jesus on that day. It is His birthday. And no, I'm going to miss that party. I'm sorry. Maybe you need to offer Him part of your schedule. You can do that here at the altar. You can do that where you're at. There's also, if you haven't seen it, there's a beautiful mural over here. Maybe you just need to go hang out in front of the manger a little bit. Pray and say, you know, when that baby was born, everything stopped for Mary and Joseph and some shepherds. Lord, I just want to give you something here in my life and stop and spend time with you. We can't change them, but we can change us so that we can have the merriest Christmas ever. I'm going to ask you to stand. I'm down here. Some of the other elders are down here. We're here to pray with you, to pray for you. What do you need to change to have the merriest Christmas ever?